Welcome. Sorry about the wait. Um,
I had to get something off my chest, guys. Sorry.
oh yeah, what's up?
No, I mean what we were just talking about.
Yeah, sorry about the long wait out. When I post this back up on the YouTube, I'll have to trim the first 20 minutes. Sorry to make you guys wait. Um, can you guys see the screen? Got Jerry on today.
Nice.
Stickers.
Great stickers. Those have really cool silhouettes.
Bunch of stickers I got made so far. These are let's see. This is I'm gonna have these available at New York Comic-Con. It's a Green Lantern one.
There's no John Stewart.
Not yet. I still have a
Yeah.
few more. I have a Batman one. B-May, this is Superman. I didn't get the time to do the crypto. I don't think I'm gonna have time to do a crypto. Supergirl. These are all like matte vinyl, waterproof. This one, I don't know how well this one is gonna sell. This one is a Crush. After Simon Beasley. She's wearing a Bite Me fanboy jacket. But we'll see. This is, I don't know. This one's a weird one. And then I have a Batman Beyond flying one. I thought kind of like this one. It's almost like it goes on the side of a helmet or something.
It looks very cool on like iPads and MacBooks.
Yeah. Or like maybe a water bottle or something.
Like a cursor.
So, and I got a couple more. I'm making a couple more. I have and then I have this one. But this one is not available for sale. This is a Pratt. This is for Pratt men's and women's basketball. Little Pratt cat.
That's cool.
All right, so what are we doing today? I guess
Kraven the Hunter.
Huh? Kraven the Hunter. All right. Why Kraven the Hunter? What is should I give some of these stickers out? Let me give some of these stickers out. Let's see who's in chat. First in chat, Simple Man. Simple Man, you want to take your choice. You get first choice. What would you like? Which one? Simple Man. Young Wavy second in chat. Young Wavy gets second choice. So Simple Man goes first. Type in chat which one you want. Tony. Bite Me Fanboy. Oh, really? Okay, all right. Simple Man gets the Bite Me Fanboy. Let me write this down. Tony. All right. Young Wavy, you get second choice. Which one of these do you want? Surprise. I think I should do a... Jerry says I should do an Etrigan.
Yeah, and you gotta put like a rhyme in the background.
A what?
A rhyme.
A Rom?
Rhyme.
Right. He only speaks in rhyme.
Rhyme.
Is he like a poet? Is he like Dr. Seuss?
What would be simple?
For New York Comic Con, you should do a famous like old school hip hop rap in his background.
The Superman is about 4 inches. About 4 inches. 4 by... The Superman's the biggest one. 4 by 3 and a quarter. Supergirl's 4 by 3. Green Lantern is 3 and a quarter by 3 and a quarter. Young Wavy, which one? So you have Superman, Supergirl, Green Lantern, or Batman Beyond. They're all about the same. They're all about 4 inches at one point. The Bite Me Fanboy. How much do you think I should sell these for at New York? Jerry, Sean, this is 3 and a quarter.
can never tell with stickers.
I think like $4, 3 for 10. That's like the
I was
general
thinking
rate.
5 each.
5 each.
Yeah.
3 for 15.
And 4 for 20.
4 for 20. 3
2
each.
for 10.
5 each. 4 for 20. There's no deal. Young Wavy gets the Batman Beyond. Okay.
Oh, so the best ones go first.
All right. DYL Pickle. DYL Pickle's next. Choose one, and then Kevin P. West. And then James Quo. Yojimbo's here. Yojimbo says it depends if you have New York City prices or prices the same across all the cons. There is a slight bit of New Yorkflation, right? But, I mean, I think...
But you got a rep now. The prices are going to go up, up, up.
I think it'll be... I think it'll probably be the same.
You should give a secret green password.
Secret handshake from the chat. Yeah. DYO Pickle, you're next to bid. If DYO Pickle is not here, then Kevin P. West. Kevin P. West, we're going to have to skip DYO Pickle. We'll give him a couple more seconds. 3 for, if it's 3 for 15, no. 3 for 12. I would say 5 for 20. How about that? 5 each or 5 for 20?
Normal. Yeah, that sounds much more normal.
Right?
Right?
For 5?
$5 each or 5 for 20. Because there's only 5 right now. And if I do a Batman one, I'm doing a New York City exclusive Batman cover, variant cover to Batman #1. Dr. Midnight, thank you for the resub. Kevin P. West, which one did you want? Who will you be looking for in the sink urinator? Yeah, we'll see. That's a comic sketch art. We'll see. There might be a soup. A sink pooper this time. Okay, Kevin gets the Superman. James Quo. You get the Green Lantern or Supergirl, and then the last one goes to Dr. Midnight. Gets the last one. Or Jamie Odell. Jamie Odell, see me in New York. I'll hook you up. Is Jamie going to go to New York? Okay, James Cole, Supergirl. Dr. Midnight, you get the Green Lantern. Okay. All right. Sean has already done like 2 or 3 Kravens already, right? Sean, is that one of your... Jerry, you already did your Kraven?
Yes.
These are really good quality stickers. All right. Anything going on in the comics business these days? Anything we should chat about besides Kraven? Did you watch the Kraven movie?
Sexy Kraven.
Was
No
there-
one did.
I watched it. Sexy Kraven.
There was a Kraven movie. Was it any good?
Define good.
Not bad.
Watchable.
I watched it, quote unquote, watched it while I was drawing. So, I didn't really have to pay attention. And it was, I'm glad I watched it that way, where I didn't have to pay attention.
Yojimbo says the Kraven movie was long and tedious. And that Diamond is suing everybody. Mostly May. Who played Kraven?
The guy from 28 Years Later, whatever his name. Kick Ass.
Is that a good movie? 28?
No, 28 Years Later was god awful. I was
Really?
pumped to watch it, and it was pretty bad.
It's kind of interesting because, like, if you ever listen to Tommy's recommendations for movies, like,
Yeah, it's weird.
he said he
He
loved
hates-
28 Years Later.
He hates every movie that gets like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then he loves the weirdest things, like Speed Racer.
Speed Racer is decent. I agree with him on that one.
And then, of course, he likes all the. Well, actually, what was it? That movie Sinners. He hated Sinners.
Really?
I thought it was only so-so.
Hmm.
I'm going to say something blasphemous about Sinners. I say this as a Michael B. Jordan fan, because I think he's actually pretty awesome. But the weakest part of Sinners was Michael B. Jordan. God, he overacted.
Well, he played two
Every time
characters.
he talks, he's got to talk like this. And every time he just stands there, he's got to stand there. And like, everything was just he was taking himself way too seriously in that movie.
But he played two characters in it too. So was it
Yeah,
doubly?
but they were kind of exactly the same.
Yeah,
Except one wore blue and the other wore red. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
right. Okay. Does Chad have any opinion on what version of Kraven should I be doing?
Sexy Kraven.
Well, he needs to have that cool vest, right? Because that's the best vest in the West.
Yeah.
And I don't see
He's got to
why
have a stash. He's got to have a stash.
It's like a 70s porno stash.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Let me pull this up. Well, what's the new version? I mean, he has this, like, what is it, like a lion? Like he killed a lion and that's the lion vest? Or is it like a vest fashioned to look like a lion?
It's a faux lion vest.
he got it at Forever 21.
Yeah, like
No animals were harmed making that vest.
Oh, really? I thought it would be cooler if it was an actual lion. And like
Yeah, but
if he took it off, you
what's
can
the
see
guarantee
like the
that's gonna
skeleton, like the skeletal bones underneath.
His came from Zoomies.
you got it from Timu.
I mean, yeah. But then the rest of his outfit is like cheetah pattern or leopard pattern with the
Spandex, baby.
spandex.
Animal
That
print
was Forever
spandex.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's tiger stripes. What is his
Pants.
motivation?
The best story in comics other than Watchmen was Fearful Symmetry, right? Was that one where he kills Spider-Man and then takes over his role and then brings Spider-Man back to life so he can gloat that he did Spider-Man better than him?
Wait, what?
That was
Does anyone
Kraven.
know what I'm talking about?
No, that was Kraven.
Wasn't it Kraven?
Does your Jimbo know?
Kraven's Last Hunt, yes.
Kraven's Last Hunt. He buries Spider-Man, then takes over as Spider-Man.
He effectively kills Spider-Man and buries him, and then I think tries to do everything Spider-Man does even better, and then
Even
brings him
Mary
back
Jane?
to life. Yeah, and then brings him back to life just so he can just say, "In your face."
Did he do it better? Like, what did he do? He caught more criminals,
I
or
think
what?
so. So Spider-Man continues to live on, but he's forever changed as a character, and it was like a big moment of reckoning, a big watershed moment in his life. And then so Spider-Man has a rogues gallery, right? So he went out and then just basically beat up every single one of his rogues gallery just to rub it in. And the whole purpose of bringing Spider-Man back to life is the fact that there's a fate that's worse than death, which is damnation. You bring someone back to life so you can say like, oh, I'm living now just so I can feel pain every single day.
Oh.
Yes. But the weird thing is that story existed before it was a Spider-Man story. That guy, that writer, I don't was it J.M. DeMatteis or something, tried to pitch that to two other companies with three other characters, and then landed on Spider-Man. And it just goes to show you that these stories, they're just you can kind of just use them anywhere.
Damn, you're saying writing is easy, Sean? Damn.
Well, if you do a great job with a great story, the concept is kind of anyone who has a hero and has villains, you can just switch it around to whatever characters.
Young Wavy wants to jump in chat. Young Wavy, you got some Kraven story you want to talk about? It is true. There's a true to an extent, but I mean, as long as you're writing it. But if you're writing it like a basic premise of a person's life being taken over by an arch nemesis, and then the arch nemesis tries to show up the hero. But there should be like some specifics that only Spider-Man and or only Kraven can do.
Yeah,
right?
ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be their story, but I don't really think it was in this case. And
Did Joker ever do that to Batman? That sounds like a good Joker Batman thing.
I think it was originally pitched for. I don't know. Maybe someone can find out how many times this was pitched with other characters before landing on Spider-Man.
Does JM? Oh, this is a pretty cool. Who's this? This is This look like Linnell? No. Who drew this?
That's pretty good.
Did Young Wavy have a Kraven story you wanted to share? Who's the best Kraven artist ever?
Is there
Sean
been
Chen.
that many? I drew him as a convention. I mean, people commission him a lot for some reason.
Because he's sexy.
Well, and what is his weapon of choice? A spear or a gun? It looks like some of these are like he has a spear.
Yeah, I mean, no, I see him with a rifle a lot. He's a hunter.
Yeah, he should have a hunter, but I mean, I guess he should also. What is a spear? He should have a knife or some kind of more natural. I would say this guy would be more natural than anything. Does he have like like really good tracking skills? Or I guess I'm just gonna do a bust, a headshot bust.
Well, what about the vest? The best vest in the West.
Yeah, you gotta get the vest in there, man.
Okay. Well, yeah, the vet like a bust, like a chest up bust. If you look at the Batman Beyond cartoon series, villains of all of them are copies of Spider-Man villains. There's an African hunter that is in the version of Kraven. Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I know with Batman Beyond, they came up with the very rough concept. They started animating it, and none of them really knew exactly what the hell that character was about. They kind of figured out as they went along. I knew someone who was animating there, and they were just already in production. I was like, oh, who is this guy? Where does he get his powers from?
Well, also, I mean, Batman Beyond there's some good stuff, and then there's some flaws, story-wise. I mean, technically it's Gotham 35 years in the future. But 35 years, but if you look at it, I mean, there's flying cars, all the buildings are like futuristic.
Yeah.
But 35 years is not really that much time to completely build a brand new city, unless you're in China. Gotham, it would have been a mix of like old and new, and the technology itself is a whole other. I mean, we talked a little bit about like sci-fi or future tech. It really is.
You know how they do like cute like pandas wearing like a mask of a kitten? I think that's what Kraven's gotta be like.
Like a Labubu Kraven?
like a hood of like a panda bear on.
Well, that's like I was just watching Tropic Thunder the other day while I was working. Do you remember that
Oh, it's
part?
back.
It's
That
on.
is
Disappeared.
dude. That is
Disappeared for 5
dude.
years.
I think it was on either Paramount Plus or Max. Yeah, and the part that what's his name? Ben Stiller kills a panda, and he wears the panda head on top, and it's like a cute panda. Because you think he's fighting a big bear, but then you realize he just killed it because it was nighttime. He killed the panda. So you think this Kraven should have
The hunter.
this Kraven should have a panda?
No, it doesn't have to be. I'm just playing.
What if he had like a peacock? He killed the peacock. Well, I really think I'm losing it a little bit. This is I was actually talking to Sean about this the other day. This is the case where you see the running back losing a little bit of explosiveness.
Yeah, but that's a physical thing. So we age like fine wine, except when you're certain people we know.
Whoa. What are you trying to say, Sean?
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing. It's not like the elephant in the room when, for some reason, artists all came into the business at one time, and then when it comes to creators kind of passing on into the great beyond, it kind of happens all at once because it seems like there is a big bell curve in the industry, and those people during the comics heydays are now like really old. But people like us are wondering, like, okay, when my drawing starts to suck and gets stiff, and I would just say like, oh, there it is. Like, you know what's coming. And then you just gotta try to
yourself.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's our attitude. It's like, it ain't gonna happen to me. And we cling on to people like Barry Windsor Smith and Art Adams and Neil. Not the only, but Walt Simonson is another. They're all, there's no decline there.
Whoa. Yeah, easy when you're talking about my boy Walt.
No, I'm saying that there are people who don't decline, and there are people that most people do, but there are some creators that don't.
Meanwhile, I'm talking to Jerry over the weekend, and it's like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night or something, and then Jerry's phone beeps, and he's like, "Oh, that's Walter Simonson texting me."
Wow.
Walter giving you a booty call? Carson McKinney's in chat. Good to see Carson. What's up with that? This is kind of like my profit drawing. I'm just thinking about this pose. How does
Well, based on watching you draw over the years on the stream, there should be a couple of check boxes before you continue. Is it viewed from below? Because
it's a upshot.
It will end up there eventually. Even so, but you might, if you're not thinking, your default is eye level, and then after a while, like, what's wrong with this? Like, oh yeah, it's a boring angle. So make sure that you're looking up at him, and then also make sure he's not looking. Everything is looking straight forward. I mean, you're not Travis Charest.
I did figure out. I think I did figure out kind of a Marvel Comics secret the other day.
Ooh.
And it's slightly different than what I do, and I tried to apply it in one of my recent issues. Was that a lot of times an establishing shot of a new environment, like a headquarters or a home or something like that, where a good amount of the story is going to take place. I tend to do a worm's eye shot looking up, similar to this. This is kind of like looking up a little bit, right? But there's a feel to it, and but when you look at like the Marvel greats, the current contemporary greats, like Linnell or Pepe or anyone, who else? Name someone.
What do they do?
They do a slightly above eye line, looking wide and down. So
Right.
it's as if you're the tallest person in the room, but also not fisheye, but a little bit. What would that be called? Like an extended lens, where it's a hyper perspective. So, all right. So if I were to say, let's say we had like 2 drawings, right? And let me make sure I'm in frame. So if we had 2 drawings, and I would do this. And you get a really dramatic upshot.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Right. Theirs is almost the counter to that. It's not a complete up, it's not a complete down. But it is an up and down. So you see both the ceiling, slightly of the ceiling, the walls, and the ground, and the floor.
That's an interior? You're drawing an interior?
Like an interior, but also exterior shots are similar. This is an interior. I'm drawing an interior, but this is, yeah. But they do this. If you
So
look,
it's like fisheye a little bit?
it's slightly fisheye, right? You know, it could be slightly curved. But this vantage point is as if you're like a 7 or 8 foot guy walking into a room or walking into a space and looking up and down. So,
Up and down.
Up and down, yeah. And it gives, I think, the viewer a sense of control over the scene. So it's a different kind of storytelling marker, right? Whereas
You can see more. I mean, that's one thing.
Yeah, you see a lot more. This one is just, it's showing that, oh, this is an important place. But this puts your viewership in the position of power. But also, because of the it's still not a straight up and down, right? This would be a standard, if we were to just do a 1-point perspective, right? It's still not a standard straight up and down. But it's a slightly, there's a slight difference. And somehow this, I don't think I have
Well, I mean, if there's a bunch of people in the room, you can see them all from that angle.
Yeah. All right, this is Coipel, Olivier Coipel, X-Men #1.
You're gonna find one now?
I think I just pulled this comic. It was sitting on the side of my table here, but I will bet you we will find an establishing shot that has this kind of a. No, this is kind of it. That's a standard interior. I mean, I could be proven wrong. Thank you. Come on, Olivier. Help me out here.
That Grand Central Station wasn't that shot you're talking about?
slightly. It's a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more wide. That was a wider shot. I don't know. This one's on a train, so I found this in a dollar bin.
Wow. I own so many of those. I own it digitally. I look at it all the time.
So something like, okay, so like this shot right here and this shot right here. These two. Interiors. Although this is a little bit more up and down. All right, Olivier did not help me with this.
I think it's just the view that gives you the most information. It shows where everyone is in the room, and it can show everyone's face and all the props. Because if you do a shot from below, whoever's in the foreground covers everyone in the background.
Yeah, and I find that it's in a lot of the Marvel comics. We see it. We see this angle. This is an older comic here. This is
Now you're on a rabbit hole quest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
just because you
90s.
don't want to draw a sexy Kraven.
Right, 'cause I don't want to draw a sexy Kraven.
One thing that Jim Lee does when he draws establishing shot of a building from the exterior, is sometimes he'll just draw it at eye level like a diagram, and that allows you to shrink it down really, really, really small, so that you can focus on the human beings rather than architecture.
I think sometimes we should do at some point a cross analysis between eras. This being a 90s book, I think, right? This is X-Men 375. When did this come out? This is Adam Kubert. Here's the masthead on this.
Hey, Bernard, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to take off a little early tonight. I'm pretty exhausted.
Okay. Thanks, Jerry.
But yeah, I'll talk to you. Let's talk soon about that stuff we were discussing.
Happy
Sure.
holidays.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye.
Boy, happy holidays. This is 1999. And then Olivier, this is more recent. When did this X-Men come out? This is this has to be 2000. 2013. So this is 14 years later. Two of the, I would say, top artists at Marvel at the time. Adam Kubert, or Andy Kubert. And I'm wondering if there's a difference in story. I mean, the style itself is very, like the modern stuff is a lot more slick, although there's still the cartoonish. If you look at some of these faces in the Adam Kubert. There's Adam or Andy? I don't want to. Adam Kubert. Very some of it is kind of cartoonish. Although Olivier, some of it does get. There is some kind of cartooniness, like in this kid's face here. But the angles. The angles that they choose. So I wonder if there's a sensibility to that can be analyzed and broken down.
Yeah, I would have thought that a lot of these things are intrinsically like there's a better or there's a worse choice. It's hard for me to think that different eras have different ways of doing things. Like I think that applies to superficial style, but then like if you're trying to make the villain feel powerful, I just don't think you can ever use the eye level or a shot from slightly above. It's always going to be drawn from below, maybe.
Yeah.
Unless the only reason you wouldn't do that is because maybe you just did it the page before. So,
Well, I mean, if it's the first time, I'm just talking about an environment. I'm not talking about the first time you see the villain or the hero. I mean, I think definitely those call for maybe a different, more dramatic viewpoint.
I'm just glad that people are including environments because it's hard to place figures in environments. So there was a time when people just didn't draw them that much. That was like the number one complaint. Just have to figure out how to fit a bunch of people in a room and have the perspective of the people and the room all fit together and all like the furniture. And some people are sitting, some people are at a table. That's really hard to do. And I think one of the reasons why people do it a lot more now and they're able to master it is because there's more referencing and there's also more 3D modeling. And they can build off of, basically have like a framework done either by, you look at something like Game of Thrones and you're like, I want to copy these people around a table, but just change them all into superheroes. Oh, James Cole, who has an error question. When did art start going full bleed on every page without white borders around? It must probably like when people kind of rejected the 9-panel grid, and then I mean that's I think there's a time when you can it's appropriate to break all the borders and go full bleed, and there's a time when it's not needed. I think a good reason not to remove the borders and go full bleed is because you want to go full bleed on a money shot later on, and you can't go from full bleed to full bleed. You kind of have to lead up to it. So you got to pick the interstitial panels that are just like walking down the hallway, and then when they open the door, that's when you go full bleed and just be surprised at what's inside. So I think you should really have the story dictate when you do that. But white borders are your friend, and you should use them.
Full bleed is also. I remember there was a time in the '90s where some publishers, I think Valiant did it. I don't know if Marvel did it, but they would. Sean, was it at Valiant where they at one point, and it was a short period of time, where they limited the number of full bleeds you could have in a book.
Yeah, and that's entirely because like the way they print the books, you can print 4 pages on one what is it called, that one big sheet, and then it gets cut into 4 pieces and it gets put into a comic. Every time an artist goes full bleed, even one thing like a gun barrel or like someone's lock of someone's hair breaks the panel border, you can't fit 4 on a page anymore. You can only fit, I think, maybe even just 1 on that huge piece of paper. And it's a tremendous waste of money.
Yeah. So
if you can keep it all constrained, then you can print 4 pages on one signature. And then the book is made up of as few signatures as possible. And that way you can get the most profit. But what really pissed me off is there's this Fred Pierce who was saying that, but don't do it for us because it saves us money. Do it for yourself because he figured out the amount of space on a page, and if you draw on the area that's supposed to be a margin, you're drawing this number of percent more, which is maybe like 15 or 20% more, or 15% more drawing that you have to do. And then he calculated that to the dollar, and he's telling us how much money you're wasting by doing extra drawing. And then I was like, hold on. that sounds like a banker talking, because if I wanted to fill the full bleed, I would just draw everything 10% larger, which takes no extra time. So yeah, just don't say it's for our benefit. I mean, I understand you can't fit 4 pages on the signature and you want to save money. Do it. Marvel's not doing it. I mean, I think they reluctantly just print one page on the signature because they like to do full bleed.
Yeah, I didn't know you broke it down to that. But
yeah, I mean, it was insulting. Like, it's like bankers telling artists how they work and how much it's going to save us. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but definitely there was a cost-saving effort to limit the number of bleeds that you can have, and not even a full-page bleed. A bleed just being like one edge of the one edge, not even all four, just any one edge that like when they all were going up all the way to the top. It was like a big, no. You had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 pages you could do it in an entire issue of 21 or 22 pages. Nowadays, not so much. I don't think there's any kind of mandate with that. The only mandate, really, like Sean said, in terms of the storytelling, and I would also add that odd number pages are always going to be on the left side. I mean, sorry, even number pages are always going to be on the left side. So 2, 3, right? So this was like 2 pages. 2 is over here, 3 is over here. This being the middle. So you would need to, if you're having a full bleed on this page, and you have a full bleed on 2 and 3, but you're supposed to read them up and down and up and down. You want to make sure that when you're bleeding, that they also don't, when they get put together in a book, becomes difficult to read. So keep in mind where you're bleeding. How does that touch the next page over? If it's an odd number page, bleeding on the right side is not that big of an issue as bleeding on the left side. With that said, in an actual printed comic, this is in a printed comic book, you're going to have pages that are, and this rule applies mostly all to trade paperbacks and independent comics. But the monthly books are drawn with the trade paperback printing in mind. So I'm always thinking whatever's an even number page is always on the left side, because you start with 1, right? 1 is always the first page. This is 1, so it's always on the right-hand side. 2, but here they have an add. So 3 is now on the left-hand side, right? But when it gets printed in a trade paperback, there's no ads in trade paperbacks. So 3 is going to be right next to 2. So you're going to have to keep in mind how the pages intersect with each other. And if it's an independent comic and or portfolio sample, I do think that becomes something to keep in mind, right? Is the screen
I'm actually a little bit. I'm actually surprised that they're still very permissive with the breaking the panel borders and the bleeds and everything, because even though that whole theory about how many pages you can fit on a signature may not apply anymore because maybe printing's different, but still there's a higher calling now. These things go into a digital form, or even like to be read on the phone. So if you're reading on a phone, how do you deal with those long panoramic panels, or a panel that breaks into another panel?
Yeah,
that's like a lot of trouble. But they never say calm down. They never say just make everything the proportions of a phone, because you can make a printed comic where every panel is the proportion of a phone, and nothing ever breaks the panel border, and then it can transition smoothly. Because I don't know how much more money they get from the digital form, but I think in the end, you actually might make more money off the digital versions than the print versions. Actually, I don't know at all, but still, none of the companies ever had that discussion.
Yeah, there was a period of time DC was going digital first, or they had specific. I don't know if they still have it now, but they had specific comics that were digital only, or digital first. And how they drew those was if this was an 11 by 17, page, you would draw 2 halves. So you couldn't have a full vertical panel on one page. It would have to be 2 halves because it was formatted for the iPad. But yeah, now that's. Let's see. I'm having some issues with this pose.
There it is.
I don't know. Go back. I got his arms kind of up like he's holding a bat.
I think one thing that might happen is that you'll start the drawing, but then you find that you get close to the borders, and then you think like, oh, you just might be able to squeeze his whole body in there if you kind of tuck his elbow in a little bit, tuck this in on, and then it ends up being very constrained. So I think a lot of them, the problem is just how the character fits in a very small. And sometimes it's just maybe good to just let the elbow get cut off.
Yeah. Also, when I'm drawing Kraven, I'm thinking the guy from Queen,
Freddie Mercury.
and who's the wrestler? There's a wrestler. He had like a mustache, not Hulk Hogan, but he had like a Rick Rude, not Rick Rude. Rick Rude. There was a guy that had like this handlebar mustache. Did you ever watch wrestling, Sean?
Jake the Snake. I never
Not Jake
have.
the Snake. Not Jake the Snake. There was another guy.
Buff Bagwell.
Not Buff Bagwell. He did. Buff had like a little bit of a.
Rick Steiner. I'm reading off the chat.
No, not Rick Steiner. He was like, he had this physique. He was like super. He had a super thin waist, but he had like a huge shoulder, arms. Oh.
And Severin.
No. Ravishing Rick Rude. I think that's Ravishing Rick Rude.
Every time someone says, there's a lot of people who just can't believe people watch wrestling because the number one thing is that it's all fake. What's the point?
Yes.
And every time people say that, I always say like, well, if you ever watch a real fight, how they can build up to it for a month or two or a month, and then the fight actually happens and it's over in 1 minute or something. Or sometimes it's not over in a minute. They immediately fall to the floor in like a 69 position and then stay like that for like 45 minutes. And then they're like, oh yeah, it's better. It's better just to choreograph it.
I mean, a real fight, they're just hugging.
Yeah, they hug on the ground for so long, and then there's nothing happening, or it's just over immediately. But then if you choreograph it, then you can bring in folding chairs, ladders, bats with razor with like barbed wire on it, and you pay a high price for that in that it's fake, but the entertainment value goes through the roof.
Or choreographed. Shouldn't say it's fake. It's choreographed.
Oh yeah. I mean, because they actually maybe we've seen like them get those cortisone shots and all those like tetanus shots afterwards because and painkillers.
But Rick Rude had this body where he was like, his waist was like super thin, but he was like completely jacked. See that? It's like his torso. He had like a super long torso.
Yeah, that's in genetics. Because there's this thing now with bodybuilders. Is a lot of bodybuilders have a huge pot belly with ab muscles in it, and it's a result of some of the steroids they take have that effect.
All right. Is he wearing a panda coat? A panda vest, or is he wearing a lion vest?
You better do a lion vest.
No one's gonna understand. Alright. Ravishing Rick Rude. Alright. Should I ink this or just stick with the... Anything else happening these days? Am I missing anything in chat?
yeah, a lot of the comic book news, not the most exciting stuff, but it's all related to events of the past week. So,
Paramount buying out Warner Brothers.
oh wow, really?
That's a rumor? No, that's a rumor.
That's weird. Like this consolidation where sooner or later, I mean, everything gets owned by Disney in the end, but to have one place where all that comes from.
I mean, wasn't Paramount going out of business a few years ago?
Yeah, it was.
So how are they in a position that they're able to now even consider buying Warner Brothers? I mean, I thought
Yeah,
like
no.
a few years ago they were like on the cusp of folding. Who knows? Dr. Midnight is going to a small local convention this weekend, hoping to sell some of his books. Nice. Good luck, Dr. Midnight. Where's the convention? You want to promote it here? Does Kraven have?
Yeah,
What was that?
I was thinking to Dr. Midnight, whether or not someone buys your book, a lot of people kind of think that the book is the product, and then they'll look through it, and either it strikes a chord with them on an art or stories standpoint, or not. You'd be surprised how much of it is how they connect with you as a person. And so, like, you are the product, and if there's good chemistry there, they'll buy your book just to, see what your thoughts are and what you write about. And I think that's also one good thing about with AI is that I think they really underestimate how much it is about connection with a creator rather than the actual artifact.
I kind of want to start over.
Do not.
Kind of want to start over.
But when you're drawing a comic book page, you don't start over that much, right?
Oh no, I've been starting over a whole bunch now these days. I'll be like 3/4 of the way done, and then I'm come back at it. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I start over from scratch.
Well, do you think that's because you might be like more distracted? So if you don't watch it, you can go on autopilot very easily. And there are people who draw on autopilot for years and are unaware of it. But if you're drawing like your life depended on it, and you're in hot competition with a lot of people breathing down your neck, you would do a gut check at every maybe 15 minutes to make sure it matches the original vision that was in your head. And the original vision in your head gets easily poisoned by what's in front of you that you drew. So you kind of have to close your eyes and not look at your drawing and think and try to capture that initial image, and you can do it again. You can find it again, and then when you open your eyes, oh yeah, that's not it. You caught it at an early stage, so you can course correct. So you don't have to wait until you're 3/4 of the way through, but try to catch it at the at the construction phase. And that's impossible to do on stream. If you do any type of talking or if you do any type of thinking, you have to take yourself out of the drawing for a second. And it's almost impossible to get a drawing that is 100% the original vision while you're talking. The drawing will still be better than 90% of what's out there. But
I think some of it is that it's a new book, it's a new character, and I'm still kind of finding my way around drawing the book and telling the story. And there's been various other versions of the character before. So, on one hand, I want to at least pay a little bit of respect to the previous artist, or previous fans and readers, without going completely, you know, off the ledge, and doing my own thing. And then the other is just, some of it is just trying to find the best drawing and the best story. And sometimes I'm in the middle of it, and I'm working, and then I go to sleep, and I wake up the next day, and I look back at the drawing from the day before, and I find like errors and mistakes. And then it's just easier to, or I come up with another angle that I think is going to be better. And the better is really just myself, not necessarily. I mean, I don't think the reader is going to notice a dramatic difference between version A, B, or C. But it's just like my own marker. What is this thing about BlackRock? It's located at the Attleboro Mall in Massachusetts. Golf Boy says no more erasing. Thank you, Golf Boy. What are your thoughts on print on demand and how Amazon can be used with today's current market, especially after Diamond's bankruptcy?
I don't know. I mean, Bernard works within the system a lot, and I do independence, but not really. Don't have that much experience with the Amazon and print on demand. In general, though, print on demand is both good and bad. I think comics has a reputation out there of being full of bad writing, and that's completely understandable because it's not a medium like movies or a novel. People can spend a few years on a novel. You can spend like a movie can be in production for like 10 years in development hell. With a comic, it's so cheap to make that a lot of people, you don't have to do a 3 or 4 drafts, and then print on demand means you don't have to impress any company that'll cover the printing cost. So it just allows anything to be printed, and then all of our books kind of compete with this stuff that's just kind of crapped out. So it's good in that the barriers come down, and then anyone who has an idea can get it done. And I think that's the best thing about comics is that you don't have to ask permission and you don't need approval from anyone. You can actually just kind of do it. But I would recommend, as long as you're doing that, still work on it like it's don't settle for mediocre writing, which is a lot of what's in comics.
Well, I think also what Young Wavy's getting at is maybe, how do you get your book into the hands of a customer, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
How do you make money? And so, if you're the traditional way is to get your book in previews before Diamond went bankrupt. Previews would be their order book. It's like a big thick catalog every month, from publisher A through publisher Z. And Young Wavy mentioned wanting to work with Image, or because Image has a few pages in that previews book. And so that's the real estate that you're fighting for if you're publishing through Image. If you're publishing through any other publisher, they have X number of slots that they're going to fulfill in that order book. And then that order book is what the retailer who I think is essentially your customer. The retailer is the one that buys your book. And whether they're able to sell it to someone else, the reader or the customer, the person that comes into the store, that's totally on them, because there's no returns in comics. Once the retailer buys it, that's the number of issues sold. That's what they count, the number of issues sold, not the number of issues that sell through. So if a retailer orders 100, that's the print run is 100. Not that a retailer orders 100 but then sells 5, and he's left with 95 copies in the back.
Yeah, that's what happened with Ryan the Future Force.
So
I can get rich off a book that never sold to people.
the print run is what the retailer orders. So the retailer to me is the customer, and then their position in the whole game is that they have to then sell that, or they think they can sell that to another person. It's similar, I guess, to a car dealership, although, the car dealership technically orders the car. The car comes from the manufacturer, and then the car dealer has to try to sell it. Sometimes they have sales, sometimes there's dealer incentives from the manufacturer, but they're left with the inventory if they can't sell it. It's not like the car manufacturer reabsorbs those vehicles. The dealership is left with selling that, and if they can't sell it, then it's dead stock. A lot of times dealerships, they will, at the end of the year, they'll have to buy the car outright. I don't know, is that a good analogy?
I think we know how it's a B2B to C business, and I don't know why I'm just so glad I'm on the content creation side. I can't imagine relying on Marvel and DC to put out a good product that you can sell, because then you have complaints about what they do, and then sell to customers who may or may not buy, and you have complaints about the customers, and you're stuck in the middle between two huge factors that are doing their own thing, and you live and die based on what they do. And I think there are those like retailer summits where you can kind of talk back at Marvel and say, like, do more of this and less of this, or this is what's working for me. In the end, you can only ask them. And then, yeah.
But I mean, print to order is a whole other thing too, because if you were to, make your own books, you'd have to print like these stickers, right? Like these stickers. Imagine if there was a way to print to order. Like if you order one, boom, it prints out, and then it saves me on inventory, right? But like the stickers, I had to make like a few hundred, and then hopefully I'll be able to sell all of them, or a good amount of them. But then the ones I don't sell, I still have to store them somewhere, right? So, if you're making your own, like Sean, you have Evermind, but Evermind is essentially print to order, right? Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I mean, you're printing the number of orders that you get from Kickstarter, and then you're probably printing a little bit more to sell later on at shows, at conventions, right? But
yeah,
do you have a stack of Evermind at your home, or does Carl have them in a warehouse or in his garage?
Yeah, I think he has them. I don't have any.
Because then otherwise, so the other thing is like, okay, well now you're gonna have to store all of these comics, these extra comics, right?
Yeah, and that's an important thing, because this industry is full of people whose garages are full of unsold product because they overestimated. And so yeah, don't print 5,000 of anything. That's not gonna sell. I mean, I don't care who you are.
And then if you go to a convention, right, you're gonna have to bring those books with you to a convention or ship them to a convention, and there's costs with that.
They're heavy.
So yeah, because books are heavy or cumbersome. They're small boxes, but you got to bring a few. hopefully you'll sell out of them at a show, but then if you don't, you got to bring them back. You got to make sure that they're all in good shape. If you're bringing them along with you and the box falls down and the corners are creased, no one's going to want to buy that book, right? So there's a lot of it's and if you do Kickstarter, the other thing is fulfillment, right? Not only have you drawn the book, did everything up, colored it, whatever, printed it, now you have to put it in a box and ship it. You're going to get a few people that are going to be like, oh, I never got my comic. You're going to have to send out another one. You're going to get a few people that, I got my comic, but it's bent, and I want a mint condition. So you're going to have to send out another copy. And even just fulfillment in itself, getting boxes to then put the comics in, to then put the label on and tape it and then drive to the post office. It's a whole other kind of job, a duty to perform. So it's not an easy job. It's not an easy position, self-publishing. What did you do with the Wingman books, Sean? You had the Wingman books, and
Oh, I had them, yeah. So after they did the initial run, Carl did like maybe printed twice as much more, and then he just gave them to me because all that art was already done, all the writing's already done. So I just gave him the files, and then he printed them up. And instead of payments, he just like gives me a bunch, which is good because I give them out a lot because there's a lot of writing lessons in there, and you get a story and you get all the art tips and the writing tips all in one package. And they've been doing really well for me, so I put them out. So I get them all for free because that's how he pays me. So I'll take like 10 of them to a convention, and then I sell them for like $10-$20 each, and then they sell. So it's just like something that's always there. And I think the great thing is that there's writing. So if I find out someone's trying to make their own comic, I say, oh, well, take a look at this. This is my own comic. And I also wrote a lot of notes in there about how to make your own comic and what to look out for and what to do. And they'll look through it and they go, oh, I'm going to buy this. And then, so it gives me like 10, 15, or $20, depending on what it's for sale for. And it always seems to be a big mover for me. And yeah, like the only downside is it's one of the heaviest things that I have to bring.
has that gone into a second printing or?
No, I have some more. Yeah, I'll run out, probably later in maybe a year and a half. But that's another thing is that these things are not, it doesn't have a shelf life. Like if you do a Marvel book, it's on the stands for a while, and then it kind of gets memory hold into its spot in history. But if you do like a trade paperback original story, it's just good. Like 10 years from now, I could still sell it.
Yeah, I mean, when we did the Boulevard sketchbooks, we got them. I got them printed in China, and you'd have to order. I think it was like 2,000 minimum, and then we'd bring 1,000 to a convention, and then the other 1,000 we would split amongst the 5 of us, so 200 each, which would be about a box or 2 boxes, and then so that's only 2 boxes, right? But if it was just one person, you have like another 10 box. I have another 10 boxes here, and thankfully we were able to sell like about 1,000 at a show. Otherwise, they'd be sitting here somewhere, taking up room. So you gotta consider that. Managing inventory is a job in itself, and there's stuff that won't sell and needs to be stored. Exactly, Jimbo. Only person I know that's successfully running their own business and selling comics is J. Scott Campbell. He's got his own machine going, and I think he's partnered with some other people that kind of deal with the inventory and fulfillment for his stuff. Thank you. It's a little weird, but the place thinks that someone's going to buy a $5 sticker. started putting them in the bathroom or on a wall.
Oh yeah, some places ban stickers.
Yeah. I know you can't sell T-shirts at C2E2. They took down my French shirts. Yeah. You're not supposed to sell T-shirts at New York Comic Con either, in the Artist Alley.
Why is that?
I
Because
don't
it's
know.
a product.
I think so. Something. Because Jerry, is known for selling shirts. And the year that he switched to Artist Alley, they specifically told him, you can't sell any shirts. And then lo and behold, when he set up, the person next to him was this girl that was selling T-shirts. So it's a little unfair. I mean, the enforcement of said rules. But hopefully, they'll be a little bit more stickler to it. Anime Boston says no stickers, huh? And with print on demand, it's directly to the readers. You can release on a more sustainable monthly release versus crowdfunding. Yeah, so I mean, if you're able to make print on demand work, right? And some of that is also print quality. If it's black and white, newsprint should be easier than color. But you want to be able to, because even when we got the sketchbooks printed in China, there would always be at least a couple copies that were messed up, that the printer just messed up. I think one year we did something and it was like a good amount of the books were all messed up. So
we really sold 1,000 at a show.
We sold 1,000 of the first one.
Oh, those are
Boulevard
good
one.
numbers, man. That's a crazy good number.
Number 2, we sold out by Friday. We had a whole thing with Boom. They were supposed to give us 1,000 copies. They only gave us like 100 or 150, and we sold out by the first day. And I had held back copies, so they never delivered on their deal. 3 and 4, we sold a good amount. I don't know if we sold 1,000, but it was close. I know, but number 1 we sold out. Number 2 we definitely sold out, but we only had a few hundred. Number 1 we were close to selling out. I mean, I still have some copies here, but not as many as 3 and 4.
It was during the sketchbook heyday. Like these things kind of go in waves. It's kind of weird that there'll be like a time when sketchbooks are hot. So now it's kind of the stickers are, and then pins too. Those enamel pins are kind of hot.
Pins,
and then maybe cards.
I think mini prints are hot right now.
Or what are mini prints?
Mini prints, like not the 11 by 17, but maybe like smaller, like 6 by 9 or 8.5 by 11. I don't know if it's because people are out of room to hang up. A lot of them already got big prints, or if it's a price point issue.
Oh, the metal prints. Says K-pop. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people doing the metal stuff now. Even like metal cards.
Chromium is back.
Well, yeah, so I was wondering, like, what's going to be the next big thing? I think, like, the sketch covers are a very weird thing. And then someone explained to me that there are certain eras where the place where you go to see art and where the art is done, what is done on, sometimes it's like on a canvas hanging in a museum is where is the place to be for art. And these days, it's a very weird thing. It's like, like to have it on a blank cover, bagged and boarded.
Do you think there will be a time when sketchbooks come back?
Yeah, everything comes around. There's only so many different products. but I'm not sure what precipitates it. But the sketchbooks, I think they're kind of coming back now. But because every single big Marvel artist has their Kickstarter thing, like the Marvel art of whoever.
But those are also like higher end prestige format.
Yeah.
Hardcovers, not the sketchbook. I think ash cans might make a comeback. I mean, you buy an ash can for like a buck at a show, and it's just black and white, Xerox basically, like the good old days. I mean, I would buy it if I was a reader. I'd go and I'd buy a bunch. Right? You have a bunch of stuff to read, and it might be collectible since it's like almost like a preview. Does Kraven have an earring? He does now.
I don't think so.
He does now. How are we doing with time?
Oh, we're kind of close-ish to midnight.
Okay. All right. Let's get out of here soon. All right. 10 minutes. All right. Does this guy look? He looks a little. Does he look a little cocky? I would think Kraven is kind of cocky, right?
Wow, what size pen is that?
This is a 005.
Wow. So you can get all that line variation even with a pen that's that thin.
Well, this one, I've used already, so that the nib is at a slight angle. So it's not a. This is not a brand new pen. This one's been kind of drawn already.
So is the 005, is that the thinnest it gets for that pen?
Yeah. Although I did see, I think I saw a 003 somewhere.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the thinnest.
But I don't know who makes the 003. I don't think it's this. It's the Pigma Micron. I think it was another. If someone in chat knows, I think it was another manufacturer. I mean, they're mostly
Hey,
Japanese.
Magic Crossarts here.
What was that?
Magic Crossarts here. I haven't seen him in a while.
You know, he's got a kid.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. So, living in Japan. Remember when he first came on, he was like, "I wanna move to Japan."
I can't imagine that lifestyle of people. And then you have to, like with the wife,
Yeah,
they have to be on board with that too. And how often do you get two people who are on board with a plan like that? It's a very drastic thing.
He moved. He got married. He got a kid. I mean, we knew Carson when he was in high school. Now he's graduated. Carson McKinney. Well, I wonder. I mean, if Carson McKinney has a kid.
We'll see that. We'll be around long enough to see that.
Wow. That would be. Who else? I mean, Cool Hand Luke might graduate from high school soon. We knew him when he was in elementary school. Who else? What else? I mean, El Capone. Maybe El Capone comes back at some point. We sold Yojimbo Boulevard 3 and 4.
Yep.
I think those were the better issues.
And it definitely got better as we went along. I think also we started, I think it's supposed to be a sketchbook, but we ended up putting finished work inside.
Yeah, we had stories in there. The one with Walter. Walter did it. We did a Rashomon kind of thing. even we did the storybook with Jonathan.
Oh yeah.
One year we did a story like a comic book where Jonathan Ross wrote 5 stories, and each of us drew one of those 5 stories.
Oh, you know what's weird? I sold all of my artwork. I forgot. Maybe it was Metropolis Comics. Bought a whole bunch of artwork from me, like an entire lot, and they're going through it, and they can pretty much like price out and label everything, but there is some stuff they couldn't place. So then Vincent Zerzolo contacted me and said, like, what is this? I want to sell it because it looks really good, but I don't know what is it from Marvel or DC. And I was like, oh no, that's one of our sketchbook ideas where Jonathan Ross wrote all the stories.
Mm.
And then he goes, oh, actually, we sell to Jonathan Ross all the time because he buys artwork. So then he just called him up and said, like, do you want to buy this from Sean? And then he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. And then he contacted me and said, like, I want to buy this to hang up in my house. But then that's one thing. But then the other things, I want to actually go forward with it.
Oh.
And I was like, I just had my daughter back then. I was like, I'm not going to be, I'm kind of retired. So I was like, okay, good enough. And then, and it's like, oh yeah, you don't have to buy the artwork. I just sent it to you.
So
did
he buy it or you just gave it to him?
I gave it to him. So I told Vincent Zerzola, it's like, just give it to him. And then I said, okay. And then he says, but he asked if I would pay for the shipping. I'm like, okay. So it goes all the way to England.
How much was it to ship?
And then Jonathan Ross contacted me again years later because he wanted those Batman running figures. And I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll just send it to you. And I was like, you want it to be assembled or in kit form? And he goes, oh, kit form, obviously. That's most of the fun.
You gotta make yourself, you gotta go to London around Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
He turns his house into a haunted house.
Yeah, I wonder if he really regrets it because, like, he did it once or something, and then everyone expects it from him now.
I thought he did it more like every year.
Yeah, I mean, I think after you do it once, everyone says, well, you can do it again, and then he's kind of forced to do it every year.
Yeah, and he has to up himself every year.
Yeah.
I don't really like this Kraven. Let's get out of here.
Well, you're still going to post this for Wednesday, right?
Did we ever do a Kraven? Do I have a Kraven from before?
You repurpose?
I don't really like this drawing. It seems off. I think it's the angle in which I'm drawing it from. You
mean your viewing angle, like the fact that the drawing is kind of off to the right, and you don't usually put it there?
Yeah, it's a little. There's something about it. The torso is a little too thin, even for Rick Rude. And I want to eat dinner.
Is Sharon in the States? Oh, cool. And she'll be in New York Comic Con?
Yep. Is Yojimbo coming to New York?
Has he ever?
Well, he'll be in Baltimore. Can you hook him up with a pass?
Yeah, I usually do.
Yeah, I'm not feeling the sketch, man.
what do you do when you're like if this was at a convention where it's you're distracted a lot, but then someone paid for it, and then they're standing they're watching you draw, and like, oh yeah, it's cool. Oh yeah, yeah. You just kind of have to finish it off, right?
There was a guy that I just did a sketch for, and he seemed to like it, but I did not like it. And then I emailed him afterwards, and I was like, "Don't post it, please. Don't post it. I'm gonna do another drawing for you."
Oh wow. Well, I mean, have you seen? I mean, so much of the artwork out there, especially if it's from another era. You know, I say like we've been doing a lot of variant covers, and yeah, I don't know what it is, but there are things that I think you and I kind of agree on in terms of what makes a good drawing. Other people just kind of don't. I thought these things were universal truth, but apparently they're not, because there are people who just. And the Travis Charis thing is a good example. He kind of breaks all the rules in terms of the initial pose of what we like. I would assume that there is a intrinsically better way to do something, like objectively better way to do something, and he just kind of draws like that diagrammatic front pose head on, and I don't really miss the cool angle. Right? I think it's fine, and people just kind of do whatever, and his drawings look fine, even though they're just kind of like the full figure from the front with no angle, no backgrounds.
There's a graphic element or design illustrative element to his drawings, though. Don't you feel his pieces? Yeah, I'm not feeling this. Does Kraven have like chest hair? He does
It's a good
now.
question.
Actually, I guess not. But you would think he would have like he would be like super manly, right? He'd be like super hairy. You would think like Kraven has so much testosterone that he would never go bald because he's just super manly. I don't know. All right, maybe I'll finish this on offline.
Matthew says we should go to Tokyo Comic Con. You usually go, don't you?
I've been a few times. I'm not sure if I'm going to go this year. That was another issue.
And that Bob Layton.
He went. Bob went last year, I think.
So, what's the deal with Bob just becoming an Asian person? I mean, just
He's living in Korea.
yeah, that's pretty extreme. But I think it's kind of cool. But I thought he went there first to vacation, and then I thought like, oh, I guess an extended visit, and then I found out he's like living there, and then he's almost like that's just his residence now.
Yeah, I mean the cost of living is a fraction of the cost of living here, and then you realize you don't need all the stuff that you have here. You have everything you want over there, and the lifestyle is very relaxed. There's no
Wonder how his fans are over there. Like, do they know who he is? And
he's got a whole support group over there. They just celebrated his birthday the other week. Last week was it? Oh no, it's this week. His birthday is coming up.
oh, I remember that.
Yeah, he says he loves it over there. So,
That's
and I completely understand. You know, when I'm in Taiwan, it's the same thing. Life is very different over there. It's much more stress. It's less stress. So
I wonder how you would do. I mean, because you have stuff. I mean, I think Bob pared down his life, and then I guess the material things in life don't really matter to him anymore. So he can kind of just pick up and move anywhere. But you have stuff. I mean, so
yeah, I'd have to get rid of all my stuff.
but can you live without your stuff? I mean, is it kind of weird when you just don't own anything other than like a couple of suitcases?
I think I can. I mean, I've been living there for quite extensively, and the longer I live there, because I only have limited amount of stuff there. The more I realize, like, I don't need anything. I don't need,
Well, that's good.
I don't need.
That's
I
a
don't
very
need all
good
this
thing.
other stuff.
Well, what do you do with all of your authentic sports jerseys? There's so
Well,
much.
I'm gonna have to probably sell them.
So you can pretty much start that process, right? Because it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, or I can bring them
But
back.
I mean,
I can bring them back to Taiwan.
but isn't there a lot of them though? I mean,
But they wouldn't.
that's,
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, they would have no value in Taiwan almost. Although no, I mean, some of it would be because it's authentic. It was all
maybe
authentic.
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan would like it.
I would definitely corner the market in authentic sports jerseys in Taiwan.
But the thing is, you would no longer have it anymore. Like, are you like, is that okay with you? Just to like
if I brought them
help
back,
your collection?
I think yeah. I mean, I look at it. I was just cleaning out my closet the other day, and I have like drawers of these authentic jerseys that I haven't even like touched in years. I didn't even know I forgot. I'd forgotten I had them. Specific ones.
So is that a good thing, a fail then? Because when you bought them, did they bring you the happiness that you were expecting, or
Oh yeah, they brought me
We-
happiness at the time. Yeah.
okay?
And you know, it's like collecting, but also part of it is like the concept of collecting the comic or the collecting the jerseys or the memorabilia. You build a passion for, or at least a knowledge of, right? An expert knowledge of. I mean, I collected a few things in Taiwan, like authentic jerseys in Taiwan. And more so, a lot of that knowledge comes into play so that I'm not being scammed, right? If you're going to buy authentic gear, there's certain tell signs to look for, so you're not getting scammed by the seller who's claiming that this is something when it's not. Yeah, but I'd have to get rid of everything. Most everything. I have to get
But
rid,
isn't
I have
that
to
be
get
kind of
rid of my
liberating?
Super Checks machine. I have a Super Checks hockey machine. I have to get rid of that. I don't think I can bring that back to Taiwan. Maybe. I mean, maybe I get a container, like a shipping container. Just throw it all in there.
Oh wow! Like, will you be able to get a place big enough to hold all of it?
Well, that's another thing, right? Yeah. But I mean, a Super Checks machine. I only found one in all of Taiwan, and it was broken in a mall. But even the one I have now, I only play when somebody comes over. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm asking because I don't understand collectors. I thank God that they exist. They're extremely important for our future well-being, especially if AI comes. Yeah, those collectors. Yeah, God love a collector, but I just don't. It's not for me. I don't collect anything.
Yeah, I can get rid of most of my clothes. I don't know. I definitely, in my older age, see the senselessness of collecting a lot of stuff. Although, it's still, I will admit, I still look on eBay for stuff. There are still things that come out. I'm like, oh, that's not necessarily like a holy grail, but oh, I really would like that. You know. But if I wear it once or twice, uh, I don't know. I don't really like this sketch.
Yeah, I wonder like if this was a product to sell, or you're doing a convention, someone paid you $300 or $400, $500 for this drawing. It's on a sketch cover, and it's going badly. The only person who thinks that is you. So how important is your opinion in this piece?
Right.
I mean, yeah, our criteria is a little bit skewed, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna
But
finish
you know,
this. I'm gonna try to
so
maybe. How can what can I do? This would almost be a lesson on how to save. How to not save like collect, but how to save in terms of like.
well, okay, since you're not going to really, this is not a piece that like this is not the product because you're not selling to anyone. So when you get this, put it up on Instagram, you scan it in Photoshop. As long as it's scanned in, then you can kind of flip it around, reduce it, and then
Yeah.
look at it and say like, well, where's the problem? And then you'll be surprised how many of those problems can be fixed in Photoshop in like seconds. And then you might be able to turn it into like improve it by like maybe 50 to 70% just in the Photoshop phase. And then you post it on, Wednesday. It's your drawing. And then this thing can go in the trash. So you fulfilled the assignment.
Yeah, like how can I?
It'll come clear to you the next day, and it'll come clear to you when you see it on your computer screen. It's just very hard while you're doing it.
Is there something I can do with paint or with color?
Oh, it gets a lot harder to manipulate Photoshop once you color it.
I'm trying to do as much as I can now. Traditionally, I mean, I might have to. I don't want to dip this marker back in the coffee. I'm gonna drink this coffee later.
So the thing is with if you're going to do any Photoshop manipulation, when it's scanned in, if it's in line form, you can kind of just select, like if you need it to make an arm bigger, you can just select the line and move the line.
Yeah.
But now that you colored it in, you created a big break in this arm that you have to refill with color and make it match seamlessly.
I think the problem right now is maybe his neck is a little too long. Can you guys see what would be issues that's making this not work?
Yeah. Like everyone has an opinion, and they're gonna make you feel horrible because they're like, it's his rear end. It's like, oh, I thought his rear end was good.
I can take it. This is critique. If you're gonna dish it, you got to be able to take it. What else?
Also, everyone's seeing a skewed version of it because it's there's a little bit of a
right. It's a little skewed.
Most likely they don't see any problem with it at all.
What is the exact? Oof.
Yeah, you have to lift the bottom up so that his head gets smaller. See, if you think his neck is too long, that's an easy Photoshop fix until you color it in.
I wish I had one of those. All right, give me a sec.
All right, a sec. I wonder what you're gonna come back with. He's coming back with lighter fluid and a match. His face isn't facey enough. Left arm appears smaller even though it should be closer, maybe. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But then I don't know how much of that is a parallax. Something like that, like when you're working close to a drawing, proportions can go really crazy. And this is something that happens to people who draw comics because we're used to drawing in these small panels. All these figures that we draw are like a couple inches tall, and your cone of vision can easily take in the whole thing. As soon as we have to do covers or draw a figure larger, we see it in parts, so the parts can get out of proportion very easily. So you can see it when you scan it in and reduce it down, and then flip a mirror image, and all the problems jump out.
Ooh. Oh.
Did you go downstairs or something? A little winded, perhaps?
I didn't know that this was black. I guess I should have looked at the marker. I thought there was going to be a gray. Whoops. All right. Let me see. I'm really experimenting now.
Yeah, well, and the experimental thing is it's very important, but I found that when you become a professional artist, that time to experiment is gone. Like I don't think we really keep sketchbooks anymore. So there is a bit of a stagnation in your development because you should screw around and ruin a lot of things, but then there's that 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 thing where you just learn something by doing something wrong, and then that changes your art forever. That doesn't happen anymore when you're a professional artist.
I think I ruined it even more.
It's kind of cool though. Those are very bold.
Yeah,
A little bit of
it is
polygon going on.
It is getting bolder. Whether that's a good thing or not. Now his face looks weird. All right. This is the ruined Kraven. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, you can still rescue it in Photoshop to post on Wednesday.
I'm gonna have to repurpose. Speaking of Photoshop, I'm just gonna repurpose that Wolverine sketch I posted today, and then
Repurpose.
change the
Make
mask
him into Kraven.
into a Kraven. Yeah.
Well, with the heavy black line, it becomes easier to change in Photoshop again.
It's gonna be in shadows.
Yeah, so you can move everything around because chances are what you're selecting is going to be in a big, massive black area, and that's easy to repair.
Who knows? Maybe this is.
I'm sure we've been to this stage a lot where you're like, "Oh, this is messed up. I'm gonna phone it in because it's ruined anyways," and then you just leave it and don't look at it anymore. But then you come across it later on. It's like, "Wow, look at this amazing drawing." It's like, "Oh yeah, this is the one that I kind of wrote off," and you remember it was going badly, but it actually is quite impressive. But you're just too close to it to see.
Yeah, no, I think this one's ruined.
And of course, there's that too.
I don't think there's any saving.
So look at that. Matthew Carson wants the dibs on it, and he's willing to pay for the shipping. And we're talking about shipping to freaking Japan too. So,
I think he's just being nice. All right, let's get out of here. The more I work on this,
I think you'll change your mind about it when you look at it.
I'm gonna have to go in with a white. Maybe if I go in with a white paint brush and hit up some highlights later on. Wait for this to dry. Go in with the pro white. Pick some stuff
And then
back
take it
up.
to Photoshop.
Take it to Photoshop.
Yeah, and then you'll be good to go on Wednesday.
It might be salvageable. Right now, coming in.
So is this kind of the thing where working in digital makes it a lot easier because you can kind of just move things around?
Yeah, well, like
Lasso
if this was digital, like with that marker, right? I would have done that on a separate layer. So if I didn't like it, I could easily take that apart, close it or open the layer, just to see how it would look without, ride or die kind of yes or no kind of thing. So the digital stuff does have a little bit of an advantage.
I always see these people who draw in, like there's this woman that does really amazing faces, probably the best female faces out there. What's her name? Mary DeMary, and you can see her do the drawings from beginning to end, and it's on a time lapse. So she draws these faces, and there's always a part where a huge part of the face moves, like in a block. So obviously she lassoed an area to like move the mouth up, or move the face in, or move the forehead up, and that's a part of, the end result is probably the most perfect female faces I've ever seen in art, and you can watch her just build it from zero. But there's always a part somewhere around the quarter of the way, and then maybe 3/4 of the way, where a huge part of the face just moves, and it just kind of jumps because you can never get it right the first time around, and then sometimes you're almost all the way done. You're like, oh, the one eye's too low, so grab it, and it just moves up, and it's just part of the process. So I guess in that sense, you will never get a perfect drawing out of her if she did it traditionally, because every single drawing has that part where a portion of the face moves.
What does she draw? Does she draw a book?
No, I think she only draws women's faces,
Oh.
like in some sort of like new Art Nouveau or fantasy type setting, and structurally they're perfect, and that seems to be all that she does, at least on Instagram, and that's fine. I mean, she has a big following, and that's all I really need to see from her. But they're almost like digitally painted, realistic female faces, and I think it's really worth looking at because you can learn a lot. But yeah, that's the thing is like in that pursuit of perfection, the digital corrections are part of the process, which makes me wonder if you can actually do this as a painting.
All right, let's get out of here.
Is this that saying, when in doubt, black it out?
Yeah, well, I don't even think that's helping, because his face is super stylized.
If you draw with thin lines, like if you draw with a rapidograph, that rapidograph line has to exactly describe every single contour exactly. So David Mazzucchelli once told me a long time ago, it's like, yeah, don't draw with a thin line. Use a fat brush to ink, like the Jean Paul Leon style. And then, so that means like the actual line you're trying to draw is somewhere in that big, huge black swipe.
Somewhere in here.
Yeah, I mean, so that you don't have to be that accurate. There's a lot of truth to that. And then I don't think anyone would ever say like, well, this would be better if the lines were thinner. Like anyone who draws with thick, chunky lines, that's just fine. Like you can, it's a perfectly legitimate style.
I might be able to go back in with a white pen and fix some of the stuff. We'll see. Let me give it a little bit of room, a little bit of time to breathe.
This is a rescue mission now.
Yeah. This could be a good lesson,
Yeah, this is the reality of it. Sometimes your best work comes out of a piece that went into rescue mode.
We'll see. We'll see how this is tomorrow. I mean, eventually he's going to be completely in silhouette. That's when it's perfect.
Yeah, that's a John Paulion.
Oh, this. I think that's. Yeah, I think that way.
When in doubt, black it out.
His face is looking a little bit better now. Okay, happy holidays. Who should we raid? Anybody?
Oh, James Quo says, rate a person called Just Call Me Blazy.
Okay, just call me Blazy. Oof, this is a rough drawing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Yojimbo, thank you for moderating.
Stay tuned on Wednesday to see the finished product. It's going to be amazing.
We'll see. I don't know. I might not even. It might be. I might be that Wolverine drawing, but we done. Who should we raid? What's the name?
Just Call Me Blazy. It's Blazie.
Okay. Let's look her up.
Her.
Well, I think it's a her. Blazy?
Yeah.
Little furry drawings. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe. Happy holidays.
See you next week. Happy holidays. Oh. We raid?
Something happened?
No.
3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Raid. Did we raid?
I have the delay, but yeah.